All right, so I'd like to call the meeting of BPAC to order at 6 o'clock. I will turn over the roll call to Eugene.
Jamie Jackson,
Here.
Lee Anderson,
Here.
Kevin Brown, Chris Clark, Aaron Frank, Deborah Foltz, Matthew Lahane.
Here.
Rachel Inman.
Here.
Jim Lynch.
Here.
Brian Ogle.
Here.
Jacob Paswick. Greg Pennington. Max Steinbaum.
Is there anyone online?
I thought Chris Clark was supposed to be online.
If he is not in yet. We'll have Deborah's note.
All right,
Regardless, we still do have,
we still have a quorum, potentially.
Counts.
I've got the bylaws here.
we have 13 member organizations, so at 6 we do not have a quorum right now. Is that discounting the ones that don't represent us? Also, Jim counts for 2. In that case, we do have a quorum. All right, great. All right, thank you.
Don't count for two?
Your H, the Potomac
Heritage.
Trail Association and Friends of the Dog Run Railroad Heritage Trail.
That's me.
That's you.
All right, so we have a quorum. All right. So can I get the approval of the September 4th meeting agenda?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Sorry, I didn't ask for discussion. Next action item is approval of the minutes for July 10th. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? All right, were they administrative in nature or were they updated?
No, there were a comma here, comma there.
Okay, okay. All right, so with Lee's adjustments, can I get a motion for approval?
I so move.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Great. All right, public comments. At this time, we will take any comments or questions from members of the public who are welcome to speak at this time. Do we have any members from the public that would like to speak? All right. Nobody's online, so I will close the public comment period. So we'll start with Lita and your discussion action item related to the bike ped counter.
Yes. You have that little clicker.
All right, so here's the update since you last heard from me. Starting off through August 27th now, about a week ago, we got 43,900 and some people on the Chatham Bridge for the year. And I think this is also a new picture since I last presented to you all. So it's been that same picture for a while.
That's an amazing number.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
the clouds are quite dramatic.
Right? Yep.
I like the perspective view too.
Oh, good. Yeah, I would like
Going into the future.
And skyline, yeah, okay. But moving on, these are the 4 sites that I've monitored in the past couple months, I guess. And that's 2 in Fredericksburg, 1 in Stafford, 1 in Spotsylvania, in Fredericksburg Riverfront Park and the BCR Trail at Idlewild, Stafford Leland Road, and Spotsylvania Levels Road at Route 208. So I feel like I remember talking about this here, but maybe I didn't. But I think at the last BPAC meeting, this is where it was. And coincidentally, sort of, or like happy accident, there were 2 events that happened at Riverfront Park in Fredericksburg while the counter was installed. That was Fredericksburg Pride on the 28th of June and on July 4th, the July celebration. So obviously those are significant peaks in the collection. And so for the total and daily average that I'm sharing here, it's without both of those peaks. But I thought it was still kind of cool to see maybe how much traffic those types of events are generating. Also an interesting thing about this site was obviously there's room for like a lot of running about of children and things. So where I positioned it was kind of just on this section of path where there's not really, trying to just capture people moving through the park. And anticipating eventually the Bankside Trail, which is gonna continue through this park and on, in both directions. So maybe in the future, once that's up, we can see if there's more traffic from that. That's the thinking anyway, or to see how it impacts things. But moving on to Spotsylvania, this was a Levels Road at 208, and it's just right on the sidewalk here, and pretty low numbers. I did present some of these sites to the policy committee last month, and they questioned this date, which I didn't really have an answer for. I kind of put the counter out and leave. I don't monitor it myself watching it. But now I'm thinking maybe the grass was getting mowed.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
Anyway, yeah, it's not really pleasant to walk around this site. They're further back from this road. There's some apartment buildings and residential areas, and then across 208 here, there's like a grocery store, some restaurants, which I thought might generate some foot traffic, but clearly not that much. It was also really hot. This was mid-July.
Well, I will tell you that the
Yeah.
7-Eleven there has a
Right.
sidewalk they put in that connected to the apartment complex's sidewalks.
Back.
So they can go through the trees. It's paved. It's a paved sidewalk, so they can go directly.
that?
There
Not
was so
on the
much
road.
traffic, not on the road. There's so much traffic that was coming from those apartments into the 7-Eleven that they paved.
Oh, I
the-
bet if
the
they're
footpath.
coming even this way, they might go there and then
Yeah.
cross.
And that's the other thing I was gonna say, they won't cross at this intersection because it's
Yeah.
dangerous
Yeah.
as can be. They'll go down one block to get to the
What block?
grocery store, one block that way to get to the grocery store, cause it's the easier
But then
path.
they pass here.
Hmm?
Would they pass?
No, there's, if you come.
They would come back further and go.
They never get to this
never get to this- okay,
intersection,
okay,
they
okay.
just go over and that services all those
Interesting.
neighborhoods, they
Good to
cross
know.
there.
Yeah,
So,
again,
to get to the grocery
on
store.
this upcoming site schedule, any notes like this are great, cause a lot of times I don't have super local knowledge of all the sites.
If that was
and
more
try to
pedestrian
think it
friendly,
through,
I
but
think it would be
it'd be
used
more.
by a lot of people.
Cool. Yeah, any other? All right, moving on. This is in Stafford, Leland Road. I just selected this site because there is a project coming up that's gonna widen the road and extend a sidewalk along parts of it that don't currently have a sidewalk or any active transportation infrastructure. But this is just adjacent to the, what is it, Leland Station, neighborhood. Kind of a narrow shared use path, I guess. And yeah, from late July, early August, this is what those counts are looking like. And it's just this like kind of last section before it dead ends coming towards Deacon Road. So not on the train station side. Pretty much no one here actually will be going to the train station, but trying to capture again those people that might be walking where there is no infrastructure now, and then hopping over to use this. And also again, thinking once that infrastructure is added, what would we capture a change in how many people are walking out there?
Oh, Lita,
Yes.
is that a public sidewalk there?
No.
Okay,
Not technically, there is a proposed VDOT project, there was some public outcry a couple years ago.
yeah, okay.
That was to widen this, the HOA did not want it. So there's still some ongoing with that, it might become public, but stay the same, might become public and widened, still TBD.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because I live right here and I know that a lot of people on the other side of the street, that development, when they walk, cause there's no walkway on the other
Yeah.
side, they cross over and they use that all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, good. And I guess, again, eventually, what public sidewalk is constructed would still feed into this network.
Yeah.
But yeah, good observation.
Yeah, theoretically, one day you'll have a sidewalk connectivity from Deacon Road all the way up to the train tracks on Leland Road.
Awesome.
And yeah, this is the last site where the counter was installed most recently. And this is on the VCR trail here. You can see the bridge. If you've been out there right by Idlewild. And yeah, really high count as follows the pattern on these shared use paths, and trails throughout the region. Totaling at just under 3,000 people over the 2 weeks.
So,
That's significant, yeah.
Yeah. So moving forward, yeah, I think, sorry, this is just under the VCR trail count in Spotsylvania County, actually. That one beat it by like, it was like 2,900 and something, a little more than 13. I'm not entirely sure, but this is like, yeah, second place for the region. Actually, third place after Riverfront Park. Riverfront Park blew them all out of the water. So yeah, actually right now, and this was kind of proposed at the policy committee meeting by Supervisor Mullins, Drew Mullins of Spotsylvania. But there's a connection between trails from Mott's Run in Spotsylvania to the Fredericksburg Quarry Trails.
Officially.
You're laughing?
Unofficially.
Unofficially, oh yes. But people have been seen crossing the road there, so potential safety concern, but I've set it up to try to capture those people, or also people who might park along the road and then go off onto the trail. And
Private property type. So that's been the main issue.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. The riverside of the road
No, sorry, to get from the quarry trail to Mott's Run Trail,
on the Spotsy side of the road, or the Mott's Run side?
Fredericksburg side,
Okay,
the Fredericksburg side.
interesting. Yeah, but that's where it's installed now, so I'll have a next counter update that will be included.
Gotta go out there tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow morning I'll be moving it to Stafford again, in Cambridge Street or Route 1, right on the Stafford side of the Route 1 bridge. There's a sidewalk there, which I think will imperfectly capture the amount of people that are crossing over it, but still try to get a count. And then just wanted to shout out, I guess, we've actually been out on the Route 1 bridge recently capturing cyclists who are crossing. And so you can see, actually, this guy would probably be picked up where I'm gonna put it on this side of the bridge, on the sidewalk on Stafford side. But then some people truly cross in the traffic on the road. But you know, as people walk too, those people might be captured. But yeah, that's what's coming up next. So I'll take any questions or comments you all have. Guidance, as always, is welcome.
So we'll be on the southbound side, so on the side that left picture is taken.
It'll be downstream side, but I guess north of the bridge. It'll be in Stafford,
Okay,
downstream.
is there any possibility it could be on the other side? If VDOT does any pedestrian
It's gonna be
amenities,
there.
it'll be on the southbound side.
The one, actually, Eugene, would you mind clicking?
I don't know if
this
there's even a
picture?
place to put it on that
Yes,
side.
so that's what I'm gonna talk about, because yeah, just click it. Because I'm, I've got this linked, but so, because you know I have to attach it to
Yeah,
something, so
May
it's
not be
not.
anything.
So there's nothing up here, however, the sidewalk does loop around and down on this like little trail down the hill towards
Yeah.
Annie's Cafe, there's something. But I kind of thought that was at that
No, yeah,
point
you want to.
out of the travel path, yeah. So unfortunately, it would be here. And again, while we were out on the bridge, the one hopeful thing about that was that, you know, people were crossing on the sidewalk on that side. But yeah, just limited by the infrastructure that exists, I guess.
Any data will still be helpful. So.
Good.
Staff went out and specifically took photos of people for like a couple of, I don't know how many hours, several hours one morning, just to see how many people are actually cycling on that bridge, even though there's no facility, right? And a bunch of them cycled in the regular traffic. And others of them are cycling on the sidewalk, which in Fredericksburg is illegal. So it's a problem. There are people actually doing this. So we're not, if we widen the bridge to allow for a shared use path or build a biking bridge, it's not like a bridge to nowhere or a waste of money. People are putting their lives in danger by cycling among the trucks and cars on that bridge right now every day.
And next to that low handrail.
We went out there specifically to photograph that, to prove that that is happening. It's not just, you know, as we get accused all the time, you know, oh, it's a bridge to nowhere, or it's a sidewalk that nobody's going to use, or whatever. Well, no, they're cycling to work and to school and college and whatever else on that bridge every day. And I must say too, that leader, since leader's taken over managing this program, the quality of the presentations has gone up, because we're getting like every 2 weeks another update of counts and photographs of the actual place we put the counter, and so Well done, Lita. It's simple. The program is improved since you took it over.
Yep, thank you.
Um,
Any other questions for Lita? All right,
I've got a question. We've been at this for a while, counting, putting the counters out and everything, different places. Is there enough time that you're beginning to see trends? Use going up, use going down,
Yeah, so.
stable?
I actually, recently Ian was kind of asking about this and I made a like spreadsheet marking all the sites we've had data on and like what years we have data on.
Huh?
And at most, it's like 3 years. Usually that's like 2018, 2019, then a pretty significant, or a gap until like 2024, when I've come back to revisit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in an earlier presentation to you all, I'd included some of those earlier figures and the new figures. But yes, there is some data to see trends.
Okay.
I haven't done too in-depth of a analysis of those trends. I think also just because it's variable times of year.
Yeah.
And still kind of a small size, but
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the trends are beginning to show an uptick in usage, whether our highway department friends, policy make decisions, that would be of interest.
Right.
Around, wonder how our trends compare to other localities about the same size as ours. Thinking Culpeper, Orange County, so.
yeah,
Anyway,
no,
Thank
good note. Right, yeah.
good presentation.
yes, indeed.
All right, next one, I think you're up again.
Yep, I'll just stay up here, because, here is the work we've done so far for a complete streets plan, which we've been talking about for a minute. But you are the first committee that's getting an update since we've really, I feel like, started to dig in and work on this. So this just defines complete streets, what that term means, and this was, yeah, a definition taken from the federal government. But just talking about ensuring that the transportation network accommodates all users and going on to list even specifically who some of these users are, that we should be planning for in transportation planning. So why are we doing this? To address regional safety and accessibility needs. And that's, again, back to that idea of just what is a complete streets. It's accommodating all users. So people can access the transportation network, get to where they need to go, and do it safely. And we hope that this plan can be a supporting document on funding applications for complete streets projects in the region. And overall, just be a plan that is still, it's a network-wide approach, so we want to be mindful of the context of the streets. Not every street is intended to be a complete street. Context does matter. However, we can create a multimodal network that serves all users of the transportation network in our region.
Later, that calls to the question is, how do we determine which street should be a complete street and which wouldn't quite make that cut? Is there an algorithm that helps us with it?
Yeah, so I think later in the presentation I'll get into that. And again, I think it's that every street can have interventions to make it more complete or work to making a network that's complete. But some of those will just look different depending on the context of like land use or other characteristics on the street. Like some streets that have a really low speed limit and are residential in a neighborhood, low daily traffic volume, might not need as intensive an intervention as a really busy street where people just absolutely should not be anywhere really near the road or traffic that's on it. So I think it's not about necessarily deciding which street is a complete street, but planning so the network makes sense based on the context and that connections can be made throughout these different types of streets. And I think, yeah, or did you have something you wanted
Okay, good.
to say? Yeah.
Well, thank you. No, that's.
Yeah. And I think throughout the presentation,
Oh.
it can answer that question more as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Eugene, I did say, I was gonna kick you out. So we've been doing some work so far, but again, this is just getting at the need for a complete streets plan, and highlighting the safety element of that. And so this middle paragraph, just some kind of facts about crashes involving cyclists and pedestrians in our region, how many we've had since 2016 through just the beginning of 2024. The data set isn't complete yet for that whole year. But there being just over 400 crashes with cyclists and pedestrians, and 37 of those being fatal crashes. So this presentation, which you all have access to, will also take you to a couple interactive maps. The first is this crash map of cyclist and pedestrian crashes. And you can just ignore that. But pulling up the legend over here, yeah, it's crash severity mapped throughout the region. So you can really zoom in and kind of, check out. You can click on a dot and it will bring up information about that crash. Granted, this is the VDOT attributes, which you should be able to kind of find what all these, like a glossary, probably on VDOT's website somewhere. But yeah, each color represents how severe that was. These dark red ones being fatal crashes. Yeah. So I'll let you all play with that, but this is something that this plan will hope to address, is making a safer network for cyclists and pedestrians. Yes. So what are this is why we need this plan. How are we going to actually go about kind of like addressing these needs, these safety and accessibility needs? And the first is just to create regional guidelines for complete streets planning. So this is the street typologies that I was kind of mentioning, where it'll be context sensitive. So appropriate interventions are being assigned in the right place, and not just indiscriminately across all streets, but working to make a cohesive network. The plan will identify priority corridors and network connections, establish prioritization criteria guidelines. We'll maintain a list of projects, multimodal projects, and hopefully, and identify funding sources for these projects. Again, and really why we're bringing this to you right now is to get your input on this from the beginning of the planning process. So I have questions on that later, but this is just what we're thinking, trying to create a plan that's a resource for the region, for people who are doing this planning work, and for how can we support this type of infrastructure. But welcoming constructive feedback on how it can better be a resource in any way that you all have. But we can talk more about that later. This is the second interactive mapping component that I mentioned, and kind of again what we've been working on so far. So first of all, yeah, I did a lot of reading of other complete streets plan to see what other people are doing, what will work for us, and also getting some input from the localities and from FXBGO, to have an inventory of the existing conditions. So you can also access this map and look around. And one of the things I'm going to ask about you all today is if this is accurate to what truly does exist in our region. And I tell you feature about these maps is I can, as I get feedback, edit those, but this link, it's like a living map document that as I change it, the link will stay the same and you can revisit it as it's updated to be more accurate.
Yeah. I'm sitting right at the back, so maybe it's harder for me to see, but why don't you just explain what the lines are and what the dots are?
Yeah, so the blue dots are bus stops throughout the region. The thin pink lines are sidewalks. And again, these are existing, so this is what currently exists in reality. The dark gray, brownish lines are shared use paths. This dotted yellow line is bike lanes. And then these pink dotted lines are there's roads where there's shared signage for bikes. and auto. And then you can come up to layers and add bus routes if you want, or trails, which I think is kind of underdeveloped right now. Because there's some question about whether those are those parts of the transportation system that we should really plan for, should we focus on shared use paths and sidewalks? But as you explore this map, you can come and take off what you want to focus on, or add what you want to focus on, take off what you aren't as focused on, to make it easier to explore. Yes, and then, yeah. I'll just.
Leading, can I ask a question about that earlier map? You mentioned trails and
Yes.
whether we'd include trails and transportation or not. What I think would go into that is whether or not the trail is established as a recreational trail, pure recreation. Or it's a trail that this or is established to serve some purposeful use, like a commerce. You're walking to school, riding a bike to work, you know, a commercial sort of a purpose.
Yeah.
And there are trails, you know, our railroad trail down in the county, King George County, is intended to be a route for commuters into the Navy base at Dalton.
Oh, right.
So that's a commercial use.
Yeah, and then do you have any ideas about who would like locality staff generally be good people to determine those uses of trails? Or is that like a matter of the public and just people saying, hey, I use this trail to go to the grocery store every day?
I think it's all the well, it's either all the above, or you can look at where the trail is on a map.
Right.
Does it lead somewhere, like into the school?
Right.
Grocery store?
Yeah, because I know or some trails that have interested me for a while are Smith Run Trail, which comes off Callan Boulevard, but does connect these residential areas to like New Mercer. And so I was wondering, are elementary schoolers walking to school that way? And I cannot, who to ask about, I guess. But I think, yeah, I believe trails can certainly serve serve the transportation network and get people where.
Yeah, some trails. You mentioned the trail that kids might use to walk.
Yeah. I guess not.
One way to learn is to go out there in the morning and see if there's a lot of kids out there with book bags.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a way.
Yeah, and another thing that actually that comment reminds me of is you'll see this big pink layer that's mapped, and I kind of breezed over that in the introductions presentation. But this plan, the scope of it, we've limited to the urbanized area of our region. So while there might be like really great trails, like out of Crow's Nest, for example, and Stafford, there's certainly trails that are going to probably mostly recreational trails. But we wouldn't even really begin considering that super much because it's out of that urbanized area. So just as a way to focus the plan and yeah, limitation should have mentioned earlier.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yes, and so this slide just has some, you can again click on all those features and there's more information available. For the bus stops, for example, if you click on it, it is indicating whether there is a bench or shelter there. Y is yes, and it's no. I think E might be, or it might say planned. Pending, it's planned, it's coming. Additionally, I feel like the interactive map, the first one I showed with safety, with crashless map, really emphasized that safety element of why we should have this plan. But getting back to accessibility, these are just some figures from the American Community Survey talking about vehicle access across the region. To identify again need for alternative ways of getting around. Certain people don't have access to a car or can't drive. So it's important that we still serve those people. So right now, again, you all are actually the first committee to get this presentation, get all this information, but it's going to be presented at the TAC next week. And the other FAMPO committees coming will be at CTAC next week as well, and eventually presenting to the policy committee. But next steps that we also want to do is develop a lot of the plan elements down here, but also take this to other regional stakeholders and get their input on what we have so far and help get input that we can shape the plan into the resource that best serves the region. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be working on. Eventually, also just public involvement, not necessarily limited to stakeholder groups, but going to people themselves, seeing what they have to say, what they think about it, what they would like from a plan. So today, and I'll take any feedback right now, or if you want to email me, or Carrie, who's been helping me and working with me on this plan, after the fact, that also works. But just questions, explore existing conditions that we have mapped. Is it accurate? Are we missing anything that's key to the network and exists? What are goals for our region that a complete streets network should strive for? Are there significant network gaps or deficiencies? And kind of ask about network needs here, but I will say in those next steps, we're also going to be incorporating projects that are already planned in the region, of course, considering those as we consider gaps to see if those are already planned to be addressed, because there are a lot of good plans in the work in the region, but still would take feedback on, you know, what are needs, what are gaps and deficiencies. How can we prioritize these projects, complete streets projects in the regions? And again, just generally, like, how can this peer resource, is there something we've missed? Is there something, you know, that would be helpful to you as a citizen, as a staff member? Yeah. And the rest of this is really going to be talking about some ideas for how we can create regional guidelines for complete streets planning. And so this is just some background that some may be familiar with, but it's classification of roadways. So right now, there's federal classifications and VDOT has their own classification system that classifies roads mostly based on how they serve automobiles, or like how much traffic there's on the roads. And the main idea is that we want to do that, but for the multimodal network. And so both of these graphics I've kind of Frankenstein together, but this modal priority comes from the Denver region Complete Streets Toolkit. And then these cross sections come from the City of Richmond's Better Streets Plan. But the idea is, again, this is how we can kind of realize, one way we can realize that context sensitive approach, network-wide approach to complete streets planning, where the context, land use, and characteristics of the road as it exists is taken into account to kind of maybe assign a modal priority. Some streets, freight is the priority. Some streets, pedestrians are the priority. And then assign the appropriate interventions on that street to accommodate different travelers as they fit into the priority. So again, a big reason for doing this is so that our planning is context sensitive, not just a blanket application of interventions to all streets. We want a network that is cohesive and makes sense. It's also to just standardize intervention throughout the region. So another reason for FAMPO to be doing this complete streets plan is that so the types of infrastructure you have in Spotsylvania doesn't shift dramatically as you move into the city of Fredericksburg, but that you can move with ease throughout the region. Finally, this is a classification system that hopefully would be a tool for the public that they can understand and also us accountable on. So just some more background about how we can classify streets. An example from Montgomery County in Maryland, how they do it. And here are typologies from other regions. But again, these questions are for you now or later if you want to get back to me or Carrie at all, or anyone on FAMPO. But thinking about, okay, so what types of roads does our region have? What are some criteria that we should use to classify these roads? And finally, what are the appropriate interventions that go along with these? checks. And this is just a tool that I thought it'd be helpful to link because you can come in and start really playing around to, you know, create this visually if it's easier than thinking about static. Or without that. See what I have. Oh yeah, so like I said, we're gonna keep presenting this to all the FAMPO committees and eventually present it to the Fredericksburg Pathways Committee, Public Transportation Advisory Board, Disability Resource Center. Those are all hopefully gonna happen this month, except PTAB is October 1st, but almost this month. We'd like to present to the Sponsored Transportation Committee, and Stafford has a question mark because I'd love to come present to someone in Stafford. I don't know if anyone in Stafford people.
We don't have-
Matt and Stafford people.
Hearing about this.
We don't have a transportation.
Okay, sad. But then, yeah, further public, engagement, again, maybe taking this to people, community groups, anyone who will have us, getting their input. Again, on those questions I've asked you throughout this presentation, how can this be a resource? What should our goals be, et cetera, et cetera. The questions are all here. And I'll take your answers whenever you have them. Reach out to me or Carrie here. And thank you all
Smiling faces.
for your hard work and your help.
I'll just add, email me, maybe I can set something up with the planning and zoning department, since they're more related to that stuff.
Will you be presenting to Pathways this month or?
Uh,
It's the 29th,
okay, I hadn't heard when it was rescheduled, but
the 29th.
that should work. I've been emailing Erin about it and knew it was gonna be rescheduled.
Okay.
And I think that works for me. It works for Carrie, or she grants me.
Okay, just let me know as well, just so that I can make sure you're on there.
Cool, thank you.
Any other questions for Lita?
I do, yeah.
Comments?
I got a question. This is hugely interesting. You mentioned earlier in your presentation that you had done a lot of reading
Mhm.
about localities that had implemented a complete streets program. And I was wondering if it would be mature, some history behind it. But we could read too. So.
Yeah.
Let's get a clearer understanding about what other localities have accomplished and
Yeah, about how to best disseminate that, I guess email. I don't know if the committee wants that as a resource.
All right, any other questions or comments for Lita?
I have one, well, I have a comment and a question. Comment is great. This was awesome. I love all the links to all the, in fact, I started playing with one on my phone while you were presenting.
Yeah,
and
it's
it was
great on
fun.
mobile. I was doing that earlier too. It's like,
And so I might have missed the answer to this question, but when you showed the pedestrian incidences where there were fatalities and accidents, how far back does that go?
2016.
2016? So about 9 years.
Are you looking for data further back or just you guys are good with 2016?
I think,
VDOT's crashing.
yeah,
It's a rolling 5 years forward.
That's available in pathways for planning. And also it's only through the very beginning of 2024, or it's not all of 2024, that data. So it's 2016 through the
2020.
beginning of.
So about 8 years. I just, it's because I know where some fatalities were on that one road you were just showing, and they weren't on there, but they would have been back from. I was just curious. So, but no, it would have been outside of that.
Oh, I see.
That's why I was asking where it
Okay.
stopped. It's like, it makes sense because it was such a long time ago, but I was.
One thing, just to Lee's point, I would consider just when you guys look into data analysis and finalize the plan, go back as far as you in terms of the pedestrian and cyclist crash data. I don't know if you'll find any trends, but just on my side, it's always see as far back as you can get, how many actual fatalities have there been? How many pedestrian and cyclist crashes have there been? So I know the GIS public available data go back to like 2009, and then there's data that does go further back. I think to 2006 with lat long. I don't think further back has location data.
Very, I love the tools that you gave us access to.
Yeah, and as those get updated and improved, again, links should stay the same. It'll just better as you keep going back.
Just a general comment. I'm really excited by this plan, and I would hope that we can prioritize public transit and the bike ped connections to public transit. I think that's a real opportunity, especially when we think back to that 2050 traffic congestion map that Ian showed us a while ago.
Yeah.
We know that public transit is going to be an important part of that, solving that. So
Yeah.
alleviating that.
Totally, and that kind of like, I mean, if I'm gonna go ahead and say like what I'm thinking about with some of these questions I'm asking you, some answers I'm thinking of is, how do we prioritize projects in the region? But maybe we prioritize bicycle and pedestrian projects that do connect to the transit,
Right.
right? So, yes,
That actually raises up the interesting question of how to get to public transportation. Node or station or bus stop or something like that. And I'm wondering if it'd be useful to include taxis in the whole transportation planning. Because if you're handicapped in any way, or you're just old and you can't walk a long ways, calling a cab is probably the only way you have to get to a bus stop or a train station. So I don't think I'd overlook that. I know where we live out in King George County. The time may come when we have to move to town because there's no camps in King George. If you lose your license, which we all will lose our license at some time, there's literally no way to get around. Thank you.
Yeah, that is true, and you combine that with the fact that some places where over 30% of households only have one car, and some have no cars. If you have access to transit and you can get to the transit stops, then those households now can have more than one person working. Transit always increases the household income because of that.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks, Lita.
thank you. Thank you. Did I get that?
All right, next item, I'll turn it over to Eugene. Do we have any correspondence? All right, so the next item is, before we do, I skipped action item, election of the vice chair. So we have two folks that stated that they would serve if absolutely needed. Chris Clark, who is obviously the former chair, and Jacob Haskowitz from Spotsylvania County. So Chris is online. I'm sure he'll defer to Jacob since he just served in that role. But if you would not, then that's fine. But can I get a motion or can I get a nomination for vice chair based on those two candidates?
So does Chris actually want it, or it was only if nobody else?
If nobody else. And Jacob was similar.
Right, but Jacob's not here and Chris just did it, correct?
Correct.
I'm online.
Okay.
So yeah, I am willing to serve again if it doesn't fit with any of the other, since it tends to be.
Chris did a great job last time. Jacob has done an outstanding job in the past. I mean, we got two great candidates. candidates who are willing to serve. Flip a coin.
I don't have one. Go ahead, Chris.
Staff representative, if they got, you know, a conference.
Oh, no.
You're breaking up.
Sound like he's saying something important.
Grants and plan they're in the middle of or something.
All right, Chris, can you say that one more time because you
Didn't hear it.
broke up?
Or type in the chat.
Or type in the chat is good as well.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm in Culpeper County, so I dropped the call. I nominate Jacob Fastwood if he's not there.
All right.
I'll second that nomination.
All right. Any further discussion?
If I may, and if I might interject one thing, both Chris and Jacob wanted to encourage a new person before either of them were nominated, if that was possible. They both thought it would be better if someone from one of the other organizations stepped up. They're both
All right. Did anybody
willing,
want to
but-
step up?
Yes, there you go. Just put that in there.
Carrie, there's crickets.
I hear that, and that is a perennial problem.
Yes, it is. Okay.
All right.
I guess the question is,
And are you willing?
I feel
question for me would be, does Jacob end up chairing TAC and BPAC at the same time like Jamie's having to do this year?
I nominate Brian Ogle if he's willing to serve.
Are you willing to serve?
I suppose so. I humbly suggest I am.
It's up to you.
Prepared, but
We'll get
You
you
have-
prepared.
You
Oh,
have a
we will-
year.
Carrie will
Yeah.
help you.
We'll help you here. You have a year before you have to be chair, but nobody wants to push you into anything.
no, that's okay. And how would that work as far as my membership? Because I'm appointed by the supervisors.
You are
As
actually.
long as. Go ahead, Carrie.
So you are the Stafford representative,
Right. Yeah.
citizen representative at this time. So they've let us know that. As long as you are reappointed.
Okay.
Which
when
I
your
can't
term
see you
runs
not.
out.
Right?
Okay, all right, so are you interested?
Sure.
Okay,
Great.
all right,
I'll second the nomination.
all right. Any further discussion? Yeah, all you have to do is show up and look smart. And you're doing that right now, so just keep doing it. Answer Carrie's emails, which I'm not prompt to doing, so you're probably better than. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, there we go. We've got our new vice
Great.
chair.
Good man, Brian.
In reality, as long as
Great.
Jamie meetings, there's nothing you have to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here
Good.
and I'll show up. All right, staff
Congratulations.
report. Any staff reports?
Any correspondence? Oh,
Yeah, I can handle the ones I put up here, which we have critical BPAC vacancies. I think if Eugene's there, Eugene is aware of these. We have several citizen vacancies in Spotsy and Caroline and King George, I believe. What were the other vacancies, Eugene? If you,
For an at-large citizen representative, Stafford County, Spotsylvania County, Caroline County, King George County, and representatives from the PRTC, the Potomac and Rappahannock Transportation Commission, the FCC, the Fredericksburg Cyclist Club, and the NPS, the National Park Service. So that's 8 total.
yes, so I'm currently trying to reach out to National Park Service. They have a new volunteer coordinator that I'm trying to work with. But yeah, you can see that we have lots of folks vacant right now. So we really need to make this a team effort to reach out and try to get those positions filled.
Can you draft like a email so that we can send those, or I can send those to the localities and maybe their planning department or their county administrator so that they can forward it to their city council or board of supervisors?
Sure, we can do that. Chris
All right.
says in the chat that Kathy Bender mentioned Tuesday she might have one ready for King George, so that's good.
Great.
And then I
Okay,
believe the other
Carrie.
staff can talk about the bike ped counters.
Okay. So like I mentioned, I presented a big bike ped counter update to your policy committee at their last meeting last month. And that was on count from October of last year through the most recent at that point. And they had requested that we obtain a quote on how much it would cost for 4 more bike ped counters. And so we will be presenting that this month, the cost. And I think that's it.
About $4,500 a piece.
Okay, I was about to say, you're leaving us in suspense. We wanted to be there.
18,000,
Committee meeting to find that.
18,000 total.
I think so, yeah, is it
Or more.
linked on the TAC agenda that's out right now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find the detailed breakdown there, I suppose, but yes, and we'll be talking about that this month with the policy committee members.
All right, thank you. All right, call for active transportation photos. Who's got that one?
That's
can do
me. We just need more good photos. And so I'd like you all to go out and take some when you're about your adventures. Aesthetics, action photos, good facilities and areas for improvement around the region. Our active transportation plan is going to be coming out in the next, 18 months or so. So we need some good photos and we will credit you.
Our name in big bold letters. Thank you.
Whatever you would
All
like.
right. Okay, member reports. Does any member have any reports around the table, looking at everyone? No member report?
I have just a brief member report. I attended a public hearing for the Route 2 widening project in July, which was the first time I've done that. And it was not so much a hearing as maps and VDOT personnel available to talk. And I asked about specifically the improvement to the bus station at the park.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the park. And learned a little bit about that, and I started to think, kind of back to my comment earlier, about how that might connect to a broader plan for public transit along Route 2, and specifically the bus system. And, obviously, it helps to have that coverage while you're waiting for the bus. And ideally, that whole Route 2 corridor would have those at their bus stops. And so I just was reflecting on that and wanted to share with the committee.
You're already getting ready to be vice chair. I see. This is great. No, that's good. Good feedback, and glad you were able to attend that meeting. All right, any other member reports?
Yes, I have a easy report, quick report. At our last meeting, I talked about the proposed acquisition of a large parcel of land in King George County that has been proposed to be added to Caledon State Park. That acquisition has closed. That property is now a part of the.
Oh, wow, great.
It hasn't been open to the public yet. They're working with the governor's office, so he can come down for ribbon cutting and all that.
Great.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what grand plans are overall, but for the railroad trail, the Dogger Railroad Trail, already put in our wish list to the park manager. Goes way beyond the park manager. Park manager said, I will email that and let you know. So,
Okay.
so we obviously hope that the railroad trail will be a part of Caledon someday too.
Nice.
But, while the railroad trail is still in private hands, and even after it becomes part of Caledon, there's a lot of new amenities that can be in place on this very, very large parcel that would help the users. Parking lots, campsites, water, restrooms, all those kind of things. That's about it for me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And hopefully your wish list gets answered. So,
Oh, yes, me too. We always hope that, don't we?
yeah. All right, any other member report? Lee?
Just very quickly, TDM week, Transportation Demand Management Week is September 15th through 19th. And this is just a week that's designed to raise awareness for the importance of safe and reliable transit options for all modes, and to incorporate that into our planning. Cars are important, but one size doesn't fit all, as we've seen by the numbers. So, yeah, that's this month, and I just wanted to announce that.
Right. All right, so our next meeting is November 6th at 6 o'clock as always, so we'll see you then, meeting adjourned.
Great job, everybody.
Good job.
Good job. Yes, indeed.